Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Sitting here with the great former Yankee, Jim Leyritz, talking some current Yankee stuff. So, Yankees gonna trade for a third baseman. Who are you going after? What's out there? What are you gonna do?
Well, right now they've been talking about Chase Headley over there in San Diego. They're really hot after him. Yeah, they're after him, and that could be a possibility. That's the latest rumor I heard.
Oh, that's
That'd be a typical Yankee get. Like, they go out and get, one of the best options out there.
Well, third
Open
base
up the
is
checkbook and.
Third base is the only place where they're really suffering right now, like numbers wise.
Yeah, they figured Euclid would be that stopgap, but unfortunately he's been hurt and he hasn't been able to perform. So
I know that's a weird thing.
That Red Sox curse.
Yeah, well, now you got Teixeira too on the other side of the diamond.
Yeah.
But again, every team, I mean, Danny Falato over there is a Cub fan. It's been 1908 you're talking about it. To hear Yankees bitch, Yankee fans bitch about it, I mean, we got in the last 20 years 5, it's like, okay, wow, we can't win another one. But, that's the thing. We want immediate results, immediate success in Yankee fan world. And, I've been a season ticket holder for a while, and it's very expensive. And you want winners, but it's very difficult now. And Jim, and you were a great guy to have on for this because you were one of the heart and souls of that team. We'll call it whatever you want. Call it the Rivera years. Call it the Jeter years. Call it the clutch Jimmy Leyritz hitting years. I mean, this dynasty that started, Mattingly's last year, getting into the playoffs in '95, coming with Tino Martinez and winning in '96. That culminated, with 2009 and A-Rod finally getting a ring. That dynasty is finally over, and what are your thoughts as a guy who was a part of that? A little sad, a little melancholy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went from the core 4 now to the trio now, and, of course, Mo's leaving this year.
How about the core 4 to the unknown 18?
Exactly. Yeah, with what's there now.
Right.
The other day at the game, it's just you look out there, and it's just not the same old Yankee Stadium, flair that you have.
Literally it isn't the same old Yankee Stadium,
No, and I think, one of the things that you look out there, though, but you got to give Girardi and those guys credit this year. They've kept them within striking distance, and if they can get some of these guys healthy, they can get Jeter back after the break, they can get Granderson back. Teixeira's done, but if they can, I don't even want to mention A-Rod because I think Brian Cashman has said enough about that one.
It's difficult to do.
Yeah.
You said that Jeter's back and he's working out and
he was back at the stadium this weekend taking some ground balls and was out there with the old timers and all the guys that were out there, and so he's starting his program back again. He went to the doctor again, I guess just maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and everything is healed up and he's ready.
So how long are we talking?
I read something where they were talking about 50 to 70 at bats. They were looking to get him 50 to 70
bad.
at
That's
bats.
doable. Isn't it great, though, that Jeter's the guy who's not tweeting out he's ready? He's the classy guy.
Right.
He knows how to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like and isn't it amazing how the media just yearns for any story on this 24-hour, not news cycle, 24-hour sports news cycle with ESPN and local sports. You got stories about what Jeter's name is at Starbucks. His name is Philip when he orders a macchiato, to keep himself incognito. People just dying for any news about these guys.
Yeah, well, it's because the news is not here.
Right.
It used to be here on the field every night. It was like it was like Hollywood.
You got a big double, and
there were some big names every night. I mean, you would literally go there, and the starting infield of the Yankees was the All-Star team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was that big of a draw.
Yep.
And that's what these people are missing. And like you said, with the era changing, Mo's going to retire. Pettit probably the year after. Jeter maybe the year after that. It's going to be a whole new thing. Cano is a special player, but unfortunately, the guys coming around him aren't like we had.
Right.
We had 4 or 5 guys on each team that you could see that were building to make the future. And fortunately, we win that series in '96 because George was ready to get rid of everybody in '96 and start all new.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that dynasty doesn't happen.
And I'll tell you, you win that series in '96 because of a big Leyritz hit, man, big home run. No, you were a huge part of that. Everybody had their thing, and if you look at the Yankees in the late '70s, everybody did their own thing too. Everybody, there was a lot of great pinch hitters in '77 and '78. Jay Johnstone,
Cliff Johnson,
Oscar Gamble, Cliff Johnson, and you had a role that you played perfectly during this era, and even getting into that Mets series, a big home run there, man. I remember being at that game. But, you know, I don't know. I just feel every generation says the same thing. And I can remember my uncles saying to me, these guys make too much money. Dave Winfield's no Joe DiMaggio. And I'm like, I'll never be you guys. I'll never be that bitter. I've become that bitter. I've become that guy.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because, you know, we were the players that struck in 94.
Right.
And at 94, there was I think Frank Thomas was making the most money at about $8 million.
Right.
And I remember, you know, we had a chance to go to the World Series that year. We wanted to get back and play.
It was supposed to be Yankees Expo.
Actually, Yankees and Expos. And we really wanted to get back to play, and we kept waiting for the union to tell us, let's go back. And Donald Fair and Gene Orza, to their credit, said, guys, listen, you have no idea which direction baseball is going. We do.
Right.
Someday, guys are going to make $20 million. And I can tell you, there was 150 guys in that meeting going, yeah, right, that's never going to happen.
20 million.
Look, now it's, you know, now what they're doing. Those two men are what made the game what it is today. And, you know, as a former player, I'm not going to be one up here and say, oh, these guys are making too much money. They're reaping the benefits that we waited for.
Sure. And you guys reap the benefits that maybe the Phil Rizzutos did.
Yeah, the 81 strike and all those
It
strikes,
just goes on and on and on. But, you know, it is funny. Reading in the newspaper yesterday, in the Daily News or today, A-Rod is currently being paid $28 million for a year. And, you know, in this economy, you get people reading that going, oh, God, you want to strangle somebody. But it's what happens. It's life, you know.
I wanted to ask you, dissimilar to A-Rod, you were able to come up with the big hits in the big games. What is the difference there? Why were you always able to play your best when the games really mattered?
Well, I always tell people, because I get to ask that question a lot. I grew up with Pete Rose. And as a young kid, I used to go to spring training.
No more intense clutch guy than I.
When I was a young kid, and I went to spring training with Tommy Brenneman, who was my best friend. His dad was the announcer. We got to be the Bat Boys. I got to learn to see Pete and see his work ethic and see everything that he did. And the one thing that stuck with me as I got older was Pete always said, if I'm 2 for 2, I'm going to be 3 for 3. I'm not going to try to hit the home run. I'm not going to ever give up an at bat because it might be my last. And I kind of took that. I patterned myself after that. And one of the things, as never being an everyday player like I was, if I was in the lineup that day, if I didn't get 2 or 3 hits, I didn't play the next day.
Yeah.
Right? And I was the kind of guy that was knocking on the coach's door going, put me in the lineup. So I had to go out there and perform every day that I had to get a chance.
It was always a big thing. That's a gambler's mentality. I hate to say this, though, because I'm a gambler. A gambler's mentality is, if it's not a pressure situation, I'll make it one by putting double my net worth on this game.
Yeah.
And that's what Pete Rose used to do. There's that great story about Pete Rose where he would, you know, when he was going for his 3,000th hit, he put 5 T-shirts on underneath it. And his assistant at the time wrote a book about him. He said, what are you doing with why are you putting 5 shirts on? He goes, because if I get the 3,000th hit, I'm going to sell every one of these mother effers. As the shirt I was wearing.
Always the marketing guy.
Yeah, no, I know, but you know, if it's not a pressure situation and that's what you thrive on, make it a pressure situation, and that's how gamblers think, you know. But made him a clutch hitter, you know.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, I never really thought of it as I was facing Mark Wohlers in the World Series. I was like, this is just another.
Love it. I'm a Yankee fan. I love it.